and you are listening to SCW, the wrestling podcast, here on youtube.com on SCW, the wrestling channel. Subscribe to the channel right now, leave any comments in the comment section, like and share the video as well. This is the Remember the Rumble special, talking about, of course, the history of the Royal Rumble, what we look forward to about the event itself, what we're looking into for this year's Royal Rumble, what do we need out of this particular event in San Antonio's Alamo Dome, and of course, last but not least, George, I need some of your predictions just to finish off this particular podcast. Are we ready to get into the history of the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, let's do this, Steve.
Well, remember the Rumble, it started in 1988. Now, it was 20 competitors in the first ever, which was a special that was put on in January that was needed. I believe it was an idea from Pat Patterson, if I'm not mistaken. 20 superstars competing. The first ever competitors, I believe, were Bret Hart and Tito Santana. The winner eventually being Hacksaw Jim Duggan, his main claim to fame being in WWE. It has been synonymous with fans going forward, and it's led to going into future years, every year since. In fact, it then went up to 30 superstars. We've had one year where we've had 40 in 2011, and as the years went on, it's been synonymous as well with WrestleMania, where the winner of the Royal Rumble would go on to WrestleMania to challenge the champion at the time in the main event of WrestleMania. So it's obviously become a massive stage on the WWE calendar. It's certainly exciting for fans as well. What are your feelings with the Royal Rumble? And do you look forward to it that much every single year, as much as I do?
It's one of the most exciting hours in wrestling in the whole of the year, definitely. I think sort of you get the nostalgia from the old people coming back. You never know who's going to come in, such as AJ Styles last year. You never really know who's going to win it as well. I think I really love sort of the drama that's built from it. Clearly, after this event, you have a really good idea of which way we're going to go on the road to WrestleMania.
It certainly is. And the thing is, what's beautiful about the Royal Rumble this year is the fact that perhaps for the first time in a long time, we don't quite know who's going to win it. I mean, there's been other years previously we go, definitely they're going to win it. And it's felt kind of obvious maybe. But I think I've got probably at least 4 out of the last 5 Rumble winners in my head correct. But I this year, I'm not 100% going in. I haven't made my prediction yet. So it's kind of exciting to have that feel. Do you think this has the potential to be one of the best Royal Rumble matches of all time?
I think definitely. If you look at it this year compared to last year they had so many injuries at this point that the Rumble, as you said in WrestleMania, it was so linear, it was so structured already, whereas there's so many potentials they can go this year with this year's Royal Rumble that makes it magical. I definitely think this could be one of the best ones. I don't know if it'll be up there with the 92 Royal Rumble, because I still think that's the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. But I think there's some fantastic potential in this year's Royal Rumble, definitely.
It's certainly got the star power of that Royal Rumble. A lot of big names are involved with this year's Royal Rumble. I mean, Bill Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker. Of course, we've got the likes of Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins has been taken out of the match, but there are rumours that he's going to still find his way in the match towards as we come to Showtime. His feud with Triple H is going to continue. We've got the likes of Braun Strowman come out as well, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton. We could even see one of the losers of the championship matches come into the Royal Rumble match as well. So we could see, many big names come into this Royal Rumble match. Of course, it starts with 2 men in the ring, and then every 90 seconds or 2 minutes thereafter, another competitor at random joins the ring until we get all 30 in the match. And then, of course, someone is eliminated from the match when they're thrown over the top rope, and both feet, it's important, both feet must touch the floor. So it's very exciting. Like you mentioned the 1992 Royal Rumble, that was won by Ric Flair, and that was actually for, at the time, the WWF Championship, which was a fantastic event in itself. There was it was vacant, the belt, if I'm not mistaken, unlike when Roman Reigns was defending it last year. As well, I think the 2001 Royal Rumble was definitely a major highlight as well. Stone Cold Steve Austin winning that particular Royal Rumble. There seems to be a lot of storytelling, different parts of the Rumble, with the hardcore section with all the weapons, a lot of the sort of big superstars come in. We see Kane, who was there from almost like playing the Iron Man role and eliminating the most men ever in one Royal Rumble match until Roman Reigns did it a couple of years ago. And then eventually we see Steve Austin winning it. What do you think makes a great Royal Rumble match, in your opinion?
I think you need the drama. I think clearly you've got to be building something for Mania in the Rumble match. It can go in so many different directions. If you look at previous Royal Rumbles, I still remember Royal Rumble 93, funny enough. This gives me nightmares, actually, to a certain degree. That when The Undertaker got taken out by Giant Gonzalez, clearly stuff like that. WWE do a great job of building up feuds in the Royal Rumble match. There's so many different ways it can go. What I'm intrigued about this year is how many ways the Royal Rumble could go. As you said, this year, for once, it's a massive mystery who's going to win it. I've got an idea, but I'm really not sure if I'm confident that it's actually going to come through this year, for once.
No, well, I tell you what, one thing that we are going to mention about right now is something that I believe we've discussed about before, George, and I've spoken to James as well, and hoping to catch up with Ricky this week as well. We suggested maybe doing a pay-per-view league this year, didn't we? About giving our predictions and then seeing which ones come out the best. So, I mean, we'll give you a bit of time to give your predictions later in the video, George, if you'd like. But of course, there is still time up to the pay-per-view, of course, to change them as well. And we will give an official video of all of our predictions together. And of course, that league will start taking place from the Rumble, which is, of course, this Sunday, which very exciting stuff indeed. But of course, I mean, the Royal Rumble match is one thing. We get other matches on the card as well. I mean, there's been some great matches we've had in the history of the Royal Rumble. I mean, the championship match, particularly from 1999, I'm going to point out now the I Quit match from The Rock versus Mankind was a particular favourite of mine as well. I believe the ladder match as well with Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho in 2002 was a great one. We've had some great matches over the years in the Royal Rumble leading up to the Royal Rumble match. What would you like to share some of your favourites as well?
I think one of my favourite matches has to be the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys in that table match. I think that was Royal Rumble 2001. It was in 2000, 2001. I just remember that sort of being a fantastic start. One of my other favourite matches, funny enough, was Taz's debut against Kurt Angle. I just remember being sort of so hyped up to see Taz in WWE. Not that it sort of went anywhere, unfortunately. But no, there's been some fantastic matches. I also liked the Triple H versus Cactus Jack street fight as well. That was brutal. I just thought for anybody that's not a wrestling fan and says it's fake, just show that match.
Definitely. I believe all of them might have been the Royal Rumble 2000, actually. It all sounds like they were all in Madison Square Garden together. If my memory serves me correctly. I might try and see if we can Google that as we're doing this particular podcast. But, yeah, I mean, that was definitely a highlight of the Royal Rumble. And so what do you feel with the matches this year, then, that we've got leading up to the Rumble? I mean, do we think that Cena and AJ Styles is certainly going to give us what we want? I mean, we have seen it times before, but, of course, Cena has the opportunity to tie Ric Flair's record. Has enough been made of that?
Not really, and not a lot's been made of it. When you look at the card this year, I think they've packed it. It's interesting to see what they're going to do at WrestleMania when they're giving these amount of quality matches on the Royal Rumble. This year's Royal Rumble just looks like a fantastic card. Obviously, it's 4.5 hours. It just looks like it's going to be a great card. And I think what's interesting with this match is there's so many potentials and so many ways it could go. If I'm going to predict what I think will happen, I think we're going to get... I think AJ Styles is actually going to win. I don't think they're going to give John Cena the win here. I think if he's going to get the 16 title, which he will probably get this year, I think it might be somewhere else, whether that be WrestleMania or anything else. Because what a lot of people are forgetting is after this event, there's still the Elimination Chamber, which could also change everything they've done at the Royal Rumble, which we didn't have last year, which will be really interesting what they do.
It will be interesting to see what happens, and particularly as well because there are feelers that there could be AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. So, I mean, to put AJ Styles kind of in this match with John Cena and then the Elimination Chamber, it seems like they are maybe building towards that. I mean, do you think that would be a good matchup at WrestleMania? I personally would like to see, if Cena is going to get that 16th world title, to get the victory at WrestleMania over AJ Styles. What would you feel?
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. I think he has to get it on a bigger stage. Although the Royal Rumble is a great event, it's a fantastic event. I think it's such an important landmark. He has to do it at WrestleMania, if anywhere. I think the only issue I have with this is we've seen this so many times before. I just hope if they do go with John Cena getting a win here, that it basically it's done right. I think potentially we could get. I reckon we're going to get an AJ Styles win via a screw job or via a count out maybe. I think somewhere or another. I don't see John Cena leaving this Royal Rumble with a belt, I've got to say.
There's been a couple of rumours going about, and I saw this one. I quite like this one today, so I'm going to throw it with you. The idea that maybe, just maybe, that some of the tactics we've seen with John Cena recently are kind of heelish in his promos. He even described that he would bury AJ Styles like he's buried other people in his promo this week on SmackDown Live. The suggestion that maybe Cena is that desperate to get the 16th world title and realises he cannot beat AJ Styles because AJ has had his number up till now, that maybe we could see some heelish tactics and maybe we could even see a double turn in this match. Do we see it likely to happen? I personally don't, but I think it's a great idea. What are your thoughts, George?
The John Cena heel turn has been long overdue, but no, I don't see it. I don't think John Cena's going heel anytime soon. I think AJ Styles will somehow win here, or John Cena will win by DQ. But no, we're definitely not going to get a double heel turn here. I don't see it at all.
Last question on this particular match then for you, George. I also did originally feel that Cena would probably win this match. As we've gone towards knowing about the Elimination Chamber, I do cast my doubts slightly at this particular time. But with this being at the Alamo Dome, it's such a big venue, with WWE perhaps trying to expand the Rumble to make this almost like a second WrestleMania, maybe this is the step forward. Do you think that maybe they need such a major title change like this at the Royal Rumble event to kind of give it that credibility?
I think it'd be nice, don't get me wrong, but I think there's enough going on without sort of John Cena winning the belt here. I think there'll be other stuff going on the show that will probably not equal this landmark, the landmark that it means of him winning the title belt, but I think there'll be other things going on the show that will be suitable.
Certainly indeed. Well, another match as well, the Universal Championship, Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns. I'm going to give you one sneak prediction of mine right now. I think Kevin Owens walks away still the champion here. Chris Jericho is in the shark cage. He's like a sexy pinata, as he would say, hanging above the ring during this match. Also, as well, it's a no DQ, which for me, I feel spoils this a little bit. I mean, is this now going to find a way that Jericho will get out of the cage somewhere? Or are we seeing that someone else is going to help Kevin Owens on his behalf? Or is Roman Reigns going to overcome the odds? George, what are you feeling with this match so far?
I think we're going for Roman Reigns winning. I think Roman Reigns, unfortunately, is going to get the win here. I think the way he'll win is I think Jericho and Owens, Jericho will somehow distract Owens inadvertently, which they're obviously building into this match at WrestleMania between Owens and Jericho. I think it makes sense, obviously, for them to happen. I do believe now, I'm putting it sort of on the line now, I think we're looking at Roman Reigns versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're building. I think originally it was Undertaker John Cena, but that's clearly off the card now. So I think it'll be Roman Reigns going over here, and I think it'll be Roman Reigns Undertaker at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure that's the way they're going to go.
It's be a very interesting match if that was to happen. For me, I'm going to say that I think that Roman Reigns will walk into WrestleMania as the champion. But I'm going to paint a little picture for you now, George. If you don't mind, I'm going to get my canvas out and start painting away. I have the belief that Triple H helped Kevin Owens for a reason. And of course, if there is WWE logic, it means that none of this is going to happen. But for clear writing where there's continuity, wouldn't it be fun if Triple H was the reason that Kevin Owens remained the champion to stop all these sort of previous Shield members going on to WrestleMania? So it's not just Seth Rollins he's costing Roman Reigns as well. This then could lead us to Fastlane, where if Roman Reigns wants another championship match with Kevin Owens, he's got to get through Triple H, of course, who he faced at last year's WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, of course, will overcome that, then get into the main event. Of course, we'll take on we'll take Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho will cost Owens accidentally the match, which will lead to their feud going into WrestleMania, and then Roman Reigns will walk out the Universal Champion. Could then potentially face the Undertaker at WrestleMania. What do you think of this as a storyline? Do you think this would work well going forward?
I think it's very clever. I don't know sort of whether WWE is smart enough to do something like that. I don't think sort of that they would do that, but it's a great storyline. I think I'd like to see that.
I personally, for me, I'm going to throw the idea out there, but I feel WWE logic, it seems to not go well that way. Perhaps Roman Reigns will probably just walk away with the belt, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. As well as that in the card, then we've got the 6 women's tag team match from SmackDown Live. Of course, we've got Becky Lynch, we've got Nikki Bella, and we've got Naomi taking on Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, as well as Natalia. It seems like this could be perhaps a throwaway 6 women's tag team match, but a lot of intertwine with the storylines of SmackDown Live. Are you looking forward to this?
It's great to see Mickie James back. That's the first thing of all. I think, this should be a decent match. There's some very good workers in there. Very hard to predict who's going to win, but I'm going to go for, I think we're going to get sort of the heels go over here. I think they look a lot stronger than the faces, although I'd like to see Becky Lynch not be the one that does the job. It's obvious to me that Naomi's the one that's going to get pinned here, I think.
We'll have to wait and see. But I think it's good they're all incorporated in, because I did think at one point that one of these feuds was going to be perhaps given more spotlight than the other. And my fear was actually it was going to be the Nikki Bella and Natalia match over the SmackDown Women's Championship, which I don't think would have been a good move if they'd have done that. So good to see that the champion is involved and they've got all the women involved, and they all get a bit of a slice of the spotlight when it comes to pay-per-view, which is really good. Moving on then, we've got more Raw matches, of course, to look forward to on the card. We'll move on next then to the other women's matches going on the main show, the Raw Women's Championship match, Charlotte and Bayley. It seems like it's a build towards Bayley getting the belt finally at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts with this? Do you think it's a waste putting it at the Rumble?
Yeah, I think it's a waste. I think you're looking at, I think personally they're going to do Sasha Banks Bayley at WrestleMania. I think you're looking at Sasha Banks is eventually going to go heel. So yeah, definitely a waste. But I do think we're probably going to get, I think Charlotte Flair will retain her actually, surprisingly. But I do think they're still going to get Bayley versus Sasha Banks down the line.
We'll have to wait and see what is going to develop from that. But of course, we've got some kickoff matches as well to give you a bit of flavour on the show. The Raw Tag Team Championships, Cesaro and Sheamus against Gallows and Anderson. Do we feel that the face is going to come away with this here? It seems to be a very interesting storyline. I've quite enjoyed it, actually, leading up to the Rumble.
4 fantastic wrestlers. Really good to see him in a match. It's a shame it's only on the kickoff show, even with the 2 referees. Very hard to predict. I'm definitely going to go. I think the faces will win here. Although Gallows and Anderson are great, they've not really got the push they deserve in WWE. But no, I think you can let Sheamus and Cesaro win here quite easily.
Do you think they'll eventually actually get the belt somewhere, and Anderson and Gallows? Or do you think they have to wait till they go to SmackDown to get their time?
Maybe. It's just a shame. Ever since they've come in last year, they've been lost to the shuffle almost. I think they've been stuck in these feuds. But I'd like to see them win the belts. But no, I think there's a lot better tag teams on SmackDown, such as American Alpha, that are clearly miles ahead of them, unfortunately.
Right. Perhaps indeed. One more of the Ghost Kickoff matches before we give you the last match for the main show. We're going to talk about Nia Jax and Sasha Banks. Do we think that's going to be a good match?
Yeah, it should be decent. I'm intrigued to see how they book it. I think Sasha Banks has to go over here. I think although Nia Jax has improved greatly recently, I think Sasha Banks sort of has to stay strong. I think they need to get back to sort of where she was last year.
We'll have to wait and see as that's going to play out. And then we'll go to the main show one more time because, of course, separating Raw and SmackDown is 205 Live. Of course, the Cruiserweights are featured on Raw. We've got Rich Swann versus Neville. I'm loving the role Neville's playing at the minute for the Cruiserweight Championship. Will the King of the Cruiserweights get his crown?
It's great to see Neville back. I really hope he does it. I think we might have a new champion here. I think Neville's been brought back so strongly. Clearly, as a heel, he works so much better than when he's put previous his face. So, no, I'd like to see Neville win. I think we might get a Neville win here.
Certainly his character has developed so much as a heel. He's been let loose as well on 205 Live. It seems so far that George believes that Neville can handle this when it comes to Rich Swann. We'll have to see as that's going to play out. For the Royal Rumble match itself then, George, what are your feelings? Who is going to walk away? Any particular numbers, surprise entrants you want to throw out? What do we expect? What do you want?
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. I'll be as quick as I can with this. So Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. Goldberg, although he's the favourite, I think them two are clearly going to take each other out. This Royal Rumble has been built up of monsters. It's all about larger people. So I think you're looking at Brock Lesnar and Goldberg playing. They're going to take each other out. I think you're looking at the actual winner of the Rumble. I had it down to one or two people. I'm going to have to go with who I think. I'm going to have to go with what my head thinks. I think The Undertaker's going to win it. I think he has to win it. I think in terms of surprise entries, I think you're looking at potentially Kurt Angle. I think Samoa Joe's definitely going to come back, definitely come into the Royal Rumble. I think that's where he'll make his WWE debut. Obviously not on the main show, if that makes sense. I think if you're looking at surprises, there'll be a few legends in there. And also, I've heard a rumour today that WWE are flying over some of the wrestlers for the UK tournament as well. So you might get a cameo from somebody such as Tyler Bate. I'm really intrigued to see which way this goes. In terms of a final four or anything like that, I think it has to be Undertaker, Lesnar, Goldberg, and then potentially somebody such as Chris Jericho, somebody that's up there. And if you're looking at for another retro cameo as well, I think we might get Kane back in his old attire as well. I've got a feeling that's going to go down as well.
Very interesting to see how that's going to play about. But yeah, quite a few points you make there. I mean, Tyler Bate, do you think that would be good for the UK Championship to give that exposure in the Royal Rumble, or should they be kept solely to their own division? What they're going to be a network special?
I don't know. I think it'd be great to see it on the main stage. Clearly, if you don't have the network, you're not aware of this UK special. That tournament was a fantastic tournament, so it'd be great to see Tyler Bate on the main stage. Hopefully, that will give the belt exposure as well, as long as he doesn't come in and get eliminated straight away.
Yeah, that's the only damaging part. If he's eliminated within 2 seconds, it doesn't really help it. I mean, same with the Cruiserweights. For me, I'm going to do my own video of the Royal Rumble, booking it myself. And I don't have any Cruiserweights involved in there because I kind of believe that there's so many of these sort of heavyweights that are meant to be involved with the Royal Rumble this year that actually doesn't feel there's enough room for guys like TJ Perkins or the Brian Kendrick to fit into the Royal Rumble. I mean, do you think they'll come in?
I guess they can make a cameo if they're making up numbers. So clearly WWE has still got to announce another 8 wrestlers. So some of them will be legends. Some of them will be people we don't know. And what I'm intrigued to see about is how many people from NXT they bring up, if anybody. I think personally Samoa Joe's definite. I don't think they're going to bring Shinsuke Nakamura. And I think maybe they will bring up Ty Dillinger, as you said, but it's very hard to predict. But I'm looking forward to seeing more who the legends are. Kurt Angle, clearly, I think is doable. I would love to see, I'm really throwing this out there, though. I don't think it will happen. It would be Jake the Snake Roberts come back. I think it would be a fantastic, just a moment to see him in a WWE win again. But no, I've got a real no idea how this is going to go. But I think Undertaker is the one that's going to go over. I think if they let Goldberg win, it's counterproductive because clearly Goldberg and Lesnar's happening at WrestleMania. Goldberg doesn't have to win this Rumble. I think you could look at it the other way. They may not let Goldberg and Lesnar touch, which would be quite smart in that respect. But no, it's going to be interesting. As long as Braun Strowman doesn't actually win it, we'll be all right.
So you're very much against Braun Strowman winning this year's Royal Rumble. What would the reasons be for that?
He's very limited. I don't like to say, although he's improved, he's a great big man. He's not at the same level. He's not a main eventer. Clearly, he's just a mid-card wrestler that's getting a fantastic push at the moment. I tell you, what I would like to see it would be a long shot. Now will be the Miz. I think the Miz deserves it actually, to be fair, but probably not going to happen. So I think we're looking at the Undertaker winning. And as I said earlier in the podcast, I think Undertaker is going to go on and have a match with Roman Reigns for the title, Universal title at WrestleMania. Which I think that if it's done right, this could turn Roman Reigns heel finally, which is what everyone's been crying out for years.
Certainly, yeah. Hopefully it would happen. It'd be a great thing if it was to happen. I like your predictions. I think they're quite interesting. I certainly will give my point on my particular predictions video, which you can check out on the channel. Will be coming up for you. As well as that, then, with all those predictions, what about Finn Balor? Do we see him coming back? I mean, there are rumours he's undergoing a medical. Do we think he can make an appearance? I personally don't believe he'll come in unless he's going to win it.
I think it's a waste. I think, clearly, as we said earlier, you've got people such as Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker there at the moment. What's the point of bringing him back? You might as well bring him back in April when there's no one here, when everyone's gone away, if that makes sense. Clearly, the impact he can have when he comes back in April will be far better than coming back into a Rumble where it's star-heavy at big men.
True, but then at the same time, would you not want to see him on the WrestleMania card? Because, of course, a lot of those casual fans would see him there. It would give him that exposure on the WrestleMania card. I mean, of course, if he doesn't make it in time for the Rumble, he is expected back for the WrestleMania card.
I'd really like to see him against AJ Styles, to be fair. If they could do that at WrestleMania, I think that'd be a fantastic match, which I'm sure everyone would love to see. That
would actually be 5-star. And I've always said when we've done these podcasts before, the day they book that match, I am definitely going to be sitting and watching that as that bad boy is happening, because that's a match that's must see. I like the idea of some of the things you've been saying there with surprise entrance and, of course, the Final Four. So Undertaker versus Roman Reigns is your WrestleMania main event. Clearly, you're seeing those two walking away from the Rumble, which is very exciting stuff indeed. But so we think Royal Rumble. What is your prediction going? Do you think it's going to be a good event then to close the show?
I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it.
I think it's got potential to be the best Rumble in years. So, yeah, very much exciting stuff indeed. But that is the podcast then. Remember the Rumble for you there. You've got George's predictions. You've got a bit of the history of the Royal Rumble as well. Giving you a little bit of a preview going into it as well. I'll be giving my predictions for you on this channel. Look out for them. They might already be there. As well as that, I'm going to be booking the Royal Rumble as well. So, how I personally would book it, how I think it should be booked. And I'll give you a bit of a clue, George, that Brock Lesnar and Goldberg do not make the Final Four in my booking. So that's a little teaser to make you want to check that video out, see who does get it and why they are not in the Final Four. But that's everything for you there, and thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel right now. Leave the comments in the comments section. Like and share the video as well. And just to close us out, George, if you could just let us know about LEP, Limited Edition Pro Wrestling, about their academy, please.
The LEP Academy is based out of Torquay. Monthly membership is £30. Private one-to-one tuition is £20 per hour. The sessions run on Tuesday, adults 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Wednesday, kids 6:30 to 8:30. Thursday, adults 6:30 to 8:30. One-to-ones can be booked depending on availability through the week and the weekend. To find the academy, just search on Facebook, LEP Promotions Wrestling.
Fantastic stuff indeed. And as well as that, you've done an interview recently as well with Jason King, which is now on youtube.com. I recommend checking that one out as well. Would you not, George?
Yeah, it's a fantastic listen in terms of the state of Southwest Wrestling.
Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. Well, that's been it then for this particular podcast. You've been listening to George Jones. You've been listening to me as well, Steve. This is SCW, the Wrestling Podcast on SCW, the Wrestling Channel here on YouTube.com. Take care, and we'll see you next time. And remember the Rumble, enjoy the pay-per-view, and check out this channel as well for all your Royal Rumble content needed. Until next time, take care and enjoy the Rumble.